Hello and welcome to Enquire to Choir. My name is Eva and I'm here to help you, fellow choir people. It's the new year, if you didn't know. Happy 2024. I cannot believe it's 2024. I started this channel in 2017. So I'm happy to be here again and I'm happy to discuss the topic I made for this video, which is actually not the things I've learned in 2023 because I was too late for that video. But I wanted to talk about what my New Year's decisions are for 2024 as a choir director. I don't know if you do this. I actually do this because I work a lot with choirs. I have 7 choirs now. I'm thinking a lot about how I've been doing this for 12 years, more than 12 years. I've been through a lot with all of my choirs. I've been with some of my choirs for 12 years or 10 years or 6 years. But I wanted to share my thoughts about the things I've learned, but the things that I will really change about the way I work, because there are some things I want to change. I don't know if it's growth or courage to be a stronger choir director, or just the experience with a lot of people in choirs and a lot of experience I got to hear from you. But in any case, here are the 5 things I will change in 2024 as a choir director, and I hope you find it interesting. I actually had a really tough year. 2023 was a really challenging year for me when it comes to my private life, but in my work life with my choirs, it was just amazing. I had a really amazing growth with all of my choirs. Maybe that's the reason why I'm thinking about what is going to happen next. How will I move forward from that? Because I always, struggle to get my choirs to sound really good. And now we're like, everything is done. They sound really well. We don't have any problems. I don't have to work on any technical issues anymore. And it's been a long process, and I will talk about that process in some other video. But this is the reason why I'm thinking this way this year. I want to move forward in a good way. I want to become a better choir director, and I analyzed what I should be working on a little bit more. The first thing is I will trust my intuition when it comes to knowing my choir, even if this means that sometimes I will disagree with the choir manager. I have great choir managements. In every single choir I love them. They love the choir. We get along really well, but it's a business. And choir managements change in the choir. And I've been the choir director for example, 10 years. So there are things about the choir they do not know, and I know. It's about the energy. It's about the experience I have with the choir when I stand in front of them and I'm working on a project. The past year, with one of my choirs, I had a project to do that was really important, but characteristically, it was not something the choir would usually do. It was a different kind of repertoire. It was a different kind of deal. It was much more difficult than they're used to. And I said, okay, let's do this project. We can do this project. I know we can, but let's just see how it goes. The project went really well. I was really happy. Everybody was amazed. It was a very good decision for the choir. So the people we were working with said, let's do another project in 2024. And I said, yes, of course, we will do this. It's good for the choir. We love to do a collaboration with them. It's amazing. Let's do it. But then I said to my choir management that I think it's better to just ask people from the choir singers, if they want to sing. And if they want to sing at that project, they will sing. We should just make an open call for the singers in the choir and say, if you want to sing that project, let us know. The choir management thought that most of the choir will say yes. So the choir has around 60 people. They said 50 people easy. Everybody will say yes. I said, I'm not so sure, because that was such a drastic change. So I don't think it's wise to just assume that everybody will say yes, because people have their thoughts, and I felt the energy. They didn't mind doing the project, but if they had to choose, they would not choose it. Out of 60 people, only 30 said they're going to do that project, which seems like a drastic number, and we'll get to that. But actually, I was really happy with that number because it showed me that I know my choir. I felt that. They were not holding a grudge, but I asked them and they confirmed what I felt. And that's okay. That's the way we are going to do it. Which brings me to my second decision. I will rather work with a smaller but motivated choir than with a bigger choir or a big choir that is just big. I said this before on the channel, but I will repeat again. Just because a choir is big doesn't mean it's better. It doesn't mean it's better. Choir directors always feel like if you have more singers, then you have more chance to be a good choir. But at a certain point, if you go like that, if you trust that if you have more singers, the choir will be better because they are good singers, all of the weaker singers are there. It slows down the process. That's the biggest thing I learned last year. It is a great thing to have a great big choir, but you have to handle that big choir, and it makes a huge difference if in the choir there are people who are motivated and people who are not so motivated. The motivated people will push, but there will always be obstacles in the form of less motivated singers. So this way, if I have 30 singers out of 60, yes, that is a much smaller number. And you're probably thinking, well, how will you get the dynamics? How will you get the biggest forte you have to have for that performance? I will get it from that, because with those 30 singers, I can work in a different way because I know they want to be there. I don't have to charm them to be there. They know what they are in for. They like the process last year, so they will be eager to follow this year. A smaller choir full with singers who are motivated will, in my opinion, go further than a big choir full of people who are just ambivalent about the whole thing. So I will trust that, and I will never be scared again of having a smaller number of singers. It's okay, we will work on it. Thing number 3, I will not be afraid of pushing my choir singers a bit if I am certain they're ready for it. This may sound a bit strange, but sometimes I feel like I cannot push my choir singers a bit because I don't want to bother them, which is such a silly thing to think and let alone admit to YouTube people. But it's true. Because I work with amateurs, because I work with people who choose to be there and they're not obliged to be there, I know that positive energy and being there, for fun is something that is crucial. And I tend to be very weary of the atmosphere. So if we are doing a piece and I have to push them a bit, I am tentative about that. Don't get me wrong, I'm still a leader. I still direct them and I will do the job, but I will always watch out how I do it. I will never be very assertive because I'm a bit I shouldn't be thinking about how they feel a lot of the time, but I do think about how my choir singers feel in the choir. I don't want them to feel bad, but I realize that there are certain ways to push the choir a bit and they like it. I don't have to be nasty about it. I can be just assertive, and it goes with the functionality of the choir. So I will not be afraid to do that. I will tell myself that I can do that, which is a different thing than before. Sometimes the choir singers, especially if they're motivated, sometimes they want me to push them forward. And I will not be afraid of that anymore. I will not be weary of that anymore. I know that I know what I'm doing. I am a good choir director. I can finally admit that to myself, that I know what I'm doing and it's not a coincidence. So yeah, I'm going to trust myself more, and if I need to push them a bit, but I'm certain that I'm ready for it, I'm not gonna be a nasty person. But if I'm ready and they're ready, I will do it. Because that's what a leader does. This one is very specific. Thing number 4. I will create new vocal warm-up exercises for every rehearsal. Yes, this is a very specific one. I know a lot of vocal warm-up exercises. Some of them are here on the channel, you can check it out. But I realized that by combining things I know, I can create my own. I always create a plan for the warm-up, but I always use a combination of every vocal exercise. I already know, the choir already knows, so I try to combine them and make it really efficient. But if I realize that a certain place in the score has been problematic, then I will make the vocal exercise for that warm up, for that rehearsal. I will do that. I will not think, oh, why do I have to do that? I just have to investigate what other vocal warm up would be better. No, I will just create the new one. I will create the specific vocal warm up. But it's a good practice, I think, to have for me as a choir director, for a singer, for them to always be challenged, because it's the same as exercising, physically in regular life. If you get too used to a certain movement, then the body will not progress as it could. And thing number 5, I cannot say that I hadn't done that before, but I will focus on that this year more and in a better way, in a more functional way. I will work on my choir singer's vocal range. I don't know if this is controversial, but I am working on my choir singers' voices, but usually I'm working with the ranges they already have. And of course, with practice and with scores and with everything, you get to work on their vocal range, meaning you get to extend the vocal range a bit around the upper and lower border. But I never focused on that. I never wanted to push it. I was just, grateful that I have the vocal range they have in the choir. So I never thought that this could be something that I could work on. And to be honest, I never had the time. Like we had much bigger fish to fry, and I just didn't have the time to focus on that. But I will focus on that this year, because I think it's good for all of us. And I think that is something they want by giving them certain scores that are a bit bigger, larger when it comes to their vocal range, just a bit. I think it could be very beneficial for them as singers and for the choir. There are many things I will do as well, but for now I think this is something that I can stand by and say here on YouTube. I will be 36, and I feel like these are the years to just see what you can do as a professional. I'm not a beginner anymore. Maybe I'm saying this here on YouTube to just convince myself that I know what I'm doing, because it is a real thing, I know you come here on the channel thinking, oh, she knows everything. I mean, I know a lot of stuff. I work with choirs a lot, and there is a reason why I'm here, but I question myself all of the time. I think that's healthy because I'm working with people, but the confidence also should come from me as a choir director. So I will trust that I know what I'm doing, and I think that will reflect on the work I do this year as a choir director. But for now, I hope this video sparked some joy and interest about the ways how we develop it as choir directors. If you want to see more from Enquire to Choir, you can subscribe. You can watch all of the other videos here. Have a great year, 2024. We have one day more to do our work in the world because it's a leap year. And yeah, I'm looking forward to everything that the year brings. I hope for my sake it will be a bit easier when it comes to my life in general. So fingers crossed, but it's just life. It goes, and you just have to go with it. Stay safe. Have a wonderful year. Let's do this. We can do this. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sticking by. Conduct well, conductors, and I'll see you next time. Bye.